Okay, so finally for monitoring and audit, we will look at CloudTrail. Now, CloudTrail is one of the simplest services into AWS, but yet one of the most useful. It provides you governance, compliance, and audit for your AWS accounts. So what does that mean? Does it mean that because CloudTrail is enabled by default, okay, you will get a history of events and API calls made within your AWS accounts. So anytime you do anything in your AWS account or any application does something, it will appear in CloudTrail. And so if you do something from the console, from the SDK, from the CLI, and your AWS services, this will appear in CloudTrail. Additionally, in CloudTrail, you can put all the logs of things that happen into CloudWatch logs, and that gives you the ability to just keep the events all the time. Now, if a resource is deleted into AWS, so if at the exam they ask you, hey, something got deleted or someone did something, where should we look first? Look into CloudTrail first, okay? This is probably the most common exam question you get on CloudTrail. So it's a very simple service, but let's go ahead in the hands-on just to get an idea of how it works. Okay, so make sure you are in the region where you've been doing this course so far. And so what I'll be typing is CloudTrail. And so CloudTrail tracks user activity and API usage. That's pretty much what I've said. And so here is pretty cool. With CloudTrail, we can view events in your AWS accounts. And so all of a sudden, we see all the recent events that happened for the last 90 days, or at least the recent ones. If we click on all events, we get the 90 days history. But we can see that Elastic Beanstalk has done a describe addresses API call, and we can see at which date and which time it did it. What was the source IP and what was the API, etc., etc. Me, I did a describe trails, just a few minutes ago. And if I click on events, I can get all the information about that event that happened, which region it was from, etc. So it's quite neat. If you go to event history, you get all the API calls that ever happened. So there's a lot of them, obviously. Let's see if there is any deletes. So let's look at event name, and I'll just type delete, okay, and see if that works. So deletes, let's look at it. Delete bucket, for example. And so we can see that, there's 3 times where I deleted a bucket. I deleted my bucket of Stefan. I deleted this really weird bucket name that I just created just for fun. But so it gives you an idea that you can track any API call that was done by anyone. So that's it for CloudTrail. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.